last year to end the 2014-15 season. We ended our season at Salisbury, and we had the lead 6 points with a minute and a half to go, and then I think everything that could have gone wrong went wrong towards the end of that game, and ultimately we were 0.7 seconds away from our first Capital championship, and we weren't able to get it done.
Knowing that we had the ring pretty much, and then going from knowing that we had it to not having it at all within a matter of seconds, that hurt us so bad, especially for us being a young group. But at the end of the day, it taught us a lot.
Having it come down to those last-second free throws and watching like we were just helpless was so hard to watch. I mean, we congratulate them; they're a good team, but obviously that played a lot into our mindset and motivation for this year.
They made plays. They had seniors that made plays, and we didn't. And I think that really affected our guys in the off season. I know the theme kind of was we can't leave this up to chance. We can't let it come down to a last possession. And I know the guys worked extremely hard to put themselves in the position that we ended up being in the following season.
For CNU men's basketball team, the 2015 season ended in heartbreak. After a 20-8 season and an appearance in the Capital Athletic Conference Championship game, the captain's season hinged on a selection committee and a chance at an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament.
Obviously, we were on edge during the selection show, but when we realized that our name wasn't going to get called, it was pretty tough, especially for those seniors.
It was deflating because we know all the hard work that we had put in that whole year and how far we had become. And just to know that nationally they didn't think that we were good enough to compete with 62 in Division III, 62 other teams, that was really deflating.
Coming in together as freshmen, Marcus Carter and Aaron McFarland represented the future of CNU basketball. Both played pivotal roles from the start and carried expectations of leading the team in the off-season, with Marcus, in particular, living in the gym.
Everybody has their own method of training. Marcus, he just wants to be in the gym all day. Some guys want to be in there, grind while they're in there, and then get out.
I didn't want to put my team in that position again to lose like that. So, my mindset's like to never give up, and if you want to get something, you have to grind for it no matter what. So, this offseason, I just wanted to grind. I said, I want to win a championship. I want to get a ring.
They were all very motivated. They wanted another crack at that game. And, there was just a purpose, I think, to our guys' spring, summer, and fall after that game that seemed very business-like almost.
With Aaron and Marcus entering their sophomore season on one of the deepest teams in history, the captains were led by junior Tim Daly and a nucleus of upperclassmen.
Man, I don't have to take over every night. We got a bunch of good players, and if I'm not going to be on, then someone else is.
We knew we were good, but we didn't know that we were that good. We just wanted to focus on every single day and try to get better every single day. We weren't looking at the big picture, winning a national championship. We were more so focused on winning the day.
The players weren't the only ones who took note of CNU's talent. The Capital Athletic Conference selected them as the preseason #1 team in the conference, a prediction that meant very little to the team.
To be honest, we didn't really think about it a whole lot. We knew that there were a number of teams that could knock us off, but at the same time that we could beat. So we kind of really just try and keep a level head.
Coach K, he printed out a D3 Hoops ranking list of the top 25, passed it around, and once it got back to him, he ripped it up and said that it didn't matter. And then ever since then, we never focused on it at all. We just focused on ourselves.
There was one method of motivation that Coach K used every season: an empty frame in the locker room.
Yeah, it kind of took on a life of its own when I first arrived on campus 6 years ago. We had a nice locker room, and we've since been able to make some renovations and put some pictures up and do some different things. And getting to the NCAA tournament is almost an afterthought when you look at the history of Christopher Newport basketball. It's kind of expected, and we couldn't put up at that time 17 16 or 17 pictures. So we decided to only put team pictures of the Sweet 16 teams up there. And there were 5 of them that had advanced that far in our history, and 1 had advanced to the Elite 8. And we left an empty one on the end, just for good measure, just for our guys to shoot for something and get their picture up on the wall. So that has now been 6 years in the making.
Yeah, we every year we know we can put a picture in the frame. It's just for us to achieve that, we all have to buy in, and I feel like this year the most we bought in with Coach K. Every single player we had has bought in, and that wasn't the goal, like to get the frame. It was the goal to enjoy the journey. But deep down inside, we all wanted a picture up on the wall in the locker room.
Entering his 5th year, head coach John Krikorian made the conscious decision to change his methods in the offseason, including the way they practiced. The players took notice, and it was evident that this year could be special.
One of the things we knew, being the #1 seed and having a little bit of pressure coming back, and just the way last season ended, and how business-like these guys approached their off season, that we really wanted to lighten things up and have some fun, and we really wanted to embrace that chemistry that these guys had built. So we did. We had music to start practice. We gave our players a lot more ownership in the process of practice, and they really took to it. And so for the first 20 or 30 minutes of practice, there was music, and the players were running the drills. We had a lot of experience, and they really took hold of it. And we had leadership across the board, not just the seniors, but the juniors and the sophomores. All had a role in the leadership, and I thought that really created a good environment, and that was really helpful, I thought, for the long haul of the season.
Our first week of practice was great. So you can just tell, from the jump, that it was going to be a great year. And then we kind of just rolled off with that, and that's what kind of just led us. But I knew instantly, first day of practice, that we was going to have a great year.
Coming in, we definitely knew that, okay, we had our 2 years before that. We were young. I mean, we weren't very experienced, and now we just kind of looked at each other and thought, it's time that we step up and take it to the next level.